my lane ones? This your boy MoashDMC back in the building, baby. Here with chapter 1116. Oda's been popping, the hits been dropping, but it's time to get into it and talk about chapter 1116 because so much had happened. Even in a short chapter, we still got key information about certain things that kind of key pieces together, but also leaves us with that much more questions when it comes to the One Piece world. And on the top of my list, as you can see, we got chapter 1116, Imu/Lily. The biggest conversation right now is what is Imu, what is Lily, and what are they to each other? We start the chapter with Imu actually walking towards a portrait, and it looks like Nefertari D. Lily, but let's not jump the gun until we get confirmation. But the very next page, we get to see Rebecca and the death of King Cobra, so it sort of adds more. It gives us more credence to that actually being Lily, but it has rose the question: is what is the relationship between Imu and Lily? But to do that, we have to talk about how Lily started the whole thing with the poneglyphs, right? On that fateful day, Lily took the poneglyphs and spread them across the world, and we now know that a lot of the places that had poneglyphs had some ties to Joy Boy. From the start, we have Skypiea, which actually told us where Poseidon was. We have Fishman Allen, who has an apology letter from Joy Boy, where Poseidon is. We have Wano, who's waiting to open the borders for the re-arrival of Joy Boy, Hazaro poneglyph, and below it, Pluton. All right. So now we have a situation where Lily's basically accomplishing Joy Boy to replace these weapons in new locations after we found out they sunk the world. And then Vegapunk's like, Joy Boy, you entrusted this to the new people, yet you knew that it was the reason why it sunk the world. So right now, was Joy Boy the good guy or was Joy Boy the bad guy? Is Imu actually evil? Or is Imu like the evil that we need? Right? We don't know how advanced the civilization was back then, and even if they were on our side. What if Imu needed to take them out with Joy Boy leading it? And the thing now is that Joy Boy is essentially a mirror of Luffy, right? We didn't really get much of Roger's backstory, but we got enough to know that Roger did fall in love and have Ace. With Joy Boy, if Joy Boy is supposed to resemble the Luffy that we know, he doesn't really need love. His love is adventure. He doesn't want to be tied down. But as we see, there are multiple people, multiple females in his life that have all kind of gravitated towards Luffy's charisma. Boa Hancock, Rebecca. And the thing about those two, they're both princesses. To go even a little further, we have Boa Hancock. And Boa Hancock's whole situation with Luffy is that she is lovesick. That is her biggest weakness. And as we've seen throughout other instances, of Empresses and Amazon Lily, they all become lovesick. And in this chapter, they also showed us one more, and that was Shaki and Rayleigh. So now Oda's given us implications that, okay, Imu has some love interest or some relationship to Lily. And at the very end of the chapter, he shows us that, okay, Rayleigh and Shaki had a relationship and they knew the secrets of the world. Well, now we have an instance where one couple knows the secrets of the world and possibly the one in the beginning knew the very same thing. Or at least, so we thought. So we don't really know. And if Lily did become lovesick with Joy Boy, it adds that Imu never married Lily. And it could be a situation where this could be a childhood friend that she lost. And she sided with the people who she needed to take out. It could be love interest, could be another story of Romeo and Juliet. We just have to wait and see. Going on, we have the very next topic, Stolen Mother Flame / Uranus. In this very chapter, we had a confirmation now, a solid confirmation that we now know where all three ancient weapons are. We have Pluton is below Wano, Poseidon is Fishman Island, and Uranus is in the hands of the world government. Like Dofi said that one time talking to Law, if I had your Delphi, I could possibly get the treasure and have true world power. With the emphasis on ancient weapons in the last two chapters, it makes a lot of sense that now we finally know what Uranus is. It is a flying ship that can nuke an island. That's literally what it is. So basically, Enel had Uranus from the very beginning. Skypiea shot you out yet again. But the thing about the Mother Flame, which is the most interesting thing, which I'll talk more about later in the 2v5 section, is that the Mother Flame essentially is an untamed or uncollected source of power just lingering around on Egghead, obviously being unmonitored because York was able to take it, steal it, and give it to the world government. And the thing in this chapter, which kind of adds more to you don't know if you're good or evil, Vegapunk is apologizing for having his mother flame stolen. But somehow he knew that York stole it to begin with, and how he's possibly acting. And the reason why he knew of York's betrayal was because intuition, I guess. I mean, technically York is just a part of himself. So if Vegapunk knew that the Mother Flame was taken, did he know what was going to happen with it? Did he question why it happened? Or was Vegapunk so oblivious that, oh yeah, I didn't realize they had an ancient weapon and now they used it? It's a little too late for apologies, but you never know. Maybe he didn't find out until afterwards, but we'll have to wait and see. Next, we have CP0 / Marine Change. The reason why I like the last couple chapters of the One Piece manga is because and a lot of people might hate it for this very same reason, is that Oda has kind of put himself in a situation where whatever he shows, we're interested, right? I know some people may not like it, but for the majority of people, whenever we see something new, we're like, oh wow. Something nostalgic, we're like, oh wow. Like he was able to bring back Foxy, D'Amelio Black, Crocodile. Obviously Wano's very recent, but all these people from way back when who still have so much relevance. Iceberg. I can't even think about how many characters he brought back, but he brought back a lot. He's able to bring back all these characters and us still have complete. We're so fully invested in what's happening, right? And getting the different perspectives in the world is actually key. Because like I was saying, like we see in Alabasta, they're crying because they just lost their king, right? Now Fishman Island, they're confused because now he knows about the ancient weapons, right? Like the Marines are now questioning, okay, like now we know that this happened, so like are we the good guys or they? Like what's so like now we're sort of starting to like we're just, if you take a step back and actually like kind of like take it all in, it's actually pretty interesting because seeing the different emotions kind of adds more of like, all right, where's he going with this? And that's why I'm getting to CP0 / Marine Chains. Like we show Stussy and Kaku in this chapter and we're like, okay, Stussy's like, can I free Kaku? Because like even though like I listen to you guys, I'm still with you guys, like these are still my comrades, right? It took a lot out of me to do this, right? And now Edison's like, I get it, thank you for doing that for us. And you showing passion for Kaku kind of like shows that you are human. Because we forget, Stussy's essentially the Seraphim before the Seraphim. Like we had the pacifistas, but obviously they're really not sentient. Like they just like follow orders to the T. Whereas the Seraphim, we sort of saw like S Snake had like their own personality. S Hawk had like that instance with Zoro. S Bear's gonna be controlled by Bio. We sort of kind of see like some of them have that human emotion can be themselves. And then we see with Stussy's essentially like exhibit A, like this is exactly how the Seraphim can get when they grow up. Because remember, that was their first successful clone, right? And the reason I'm saying the change is because now Stussy, like she doesn't know what she's gonna do. Like, can she join the Straw Hats or is she going back to CP0? CP0 kind of sees and hears things going on like in the real world. Do they stay on the same side or do they defect and possibly go help the revolutionaries? We don't know. Right, so basically Vegapunk's message is relaying information, but also kind of testing people's like, are you really about what you say you're about? And mainly in this chapter, when I say Marine Chains, the biggest one is Akainu, because Akainu was like, Vegapunk, you're really saying everything, and it kind of indicates that Akainu knows, right? And Akainu is in the highest form or highest seat in the Marines. He's a fleet admiral. But we've had people who've been in that seat before. We had Kong. We've had Sengoku. In this chapter, we see Sengoku like stuffing his face with cookies or crackers because he didn't want to speak about what's going on, which kind of lends to the fact that maybe if you're in that position, you know what's going on. So Garb, you knew. Sengoku, you knew. Akainu, you know. So like, what's really going on? With the fact that you guys know all this, but kind of like are so like you hanging onto their pocket and following like step by step. Okay, so as that little more interesting or a little more intrigue or a little more thought process or thought-provoking exercises, we're like, okay, are the Marines going to stay Marines now that they heard about this? Or do they become pirates? The reason why pirates are so like, the reason why people enjoy being a pirate is to be free, right? The Marines don't really have a choice. They're following this line of thinking and they're just basically acting on orders. But now that they hear about this, like if our orders make us just kill innocent people, we're not just going to stay here. That makes no sense. So we have to wait and see. Akainu, I'm watching you, my man. You're for absolute justice, and maybe it's kind of leading towards like why he hates pirates, because he knows the history of the world. You know, maybe he knows something that we don't, but we'll have to wait and see. Now, the biggest talking point this chapter, and the reason why it's like this part is my favorite, right? So if you're watching or listening, start the theory clock right now. Wano's second war, right? Wano is a country that just got their freedom for a 30-year reign over Orochi with Kaido looming right over his shoulder, right? Wano's free now. Wano has Yamato, Momonosuke, the scabbards. They still have the waterfall to get up to. They have their people are eating the samurai happy. They have the morale at an all-time high. But is that enough? You know, now that the world is the way it is, now that they know Kaido's not there anymore, right? Is everything they have on Wano enough to really deter everyone from coming? Cool, you have a pink dragon. Cool, you have a mythical zone. Inu for all. I get all that, but are you strong enough for the people who are coming next? Or not just people? People, multiple people coming next. Because now that Vegapunk is exposed into the world where Exposing to the world that the ancient weapons are still existing right now. The world government has one. Do you? You're bringing a pen to a gunfight. Don't make sense, right? And Oda already showed us that, or Oda's already told us that Wano has to open its borders for the arrival of Joy Boy. Well, Joy Boy is here. And Momonosuke is like, I don't want to open it yet because I don't think we're strong enough. Like, like right now, the world is still a very turbulent place. So let's take it easy and take it, But now people know that underneath Wano lies Pluton. And not just any person, not just like, not just Caribou. Caribou is not selling the big dog, the big honcho, the man with the highest stocks in all of One Piece right now, Blackbeard, saying, yo, listen, you want the world, right? Listen, I have valuable information that's worth literally just that. And Vegapunk just made the stocks go high, but no one knows where to invest. I know where two of them are. And he tells them, one's in Wano. Remember, Wano doesn't have Kaido no more. It's just this young pink dragon who just turned from a child to a man, and Kaido's son and some scabbards. They're samurai. They're strong, but they're not like you strong. You're Blackbeard. So now it's just like, oh yeah, like I want that information. I want that weapon. There's Wano right there. You literally waited for law to come out of Wano. It's right there. So I could definitely see a situation where Van Augur with the Warp fruit, the Blackbeard pirates pull up in full force, right? If that's the case, you're pretty out. Yeah, you should have had luck at that point, right? The reason why I'm saying the second war, right? Because even though the Blackbeard pirates go, Wano still has something going for them. I mean, if Blackbeard goes and hits it with a Quake Punch, then game is game. It's over for that, right? But the reason why I'm saying second war is because there's not just because we're still waiting for Shanks, right? But I'm not even talking about Shanks. Yeah, Shanks is Shanks, right? He's gonna do what he's gonna do. I'm talking about Cross Guild, right? Right. And in this very chapter, the reason why I enjoy them bringing Crocodile's picture back into the phrase is because Crocodile kind of has this whole thing where he was the first person not only looking or trying to understand or read polyglyphs in the story that we knew of, he was going for the very thing Pluton. And if everything like happens the way I was talking about, and Crocodile is the missing empress from Amazon Lily then draws a connection to Alabasta where the other ancient weapons were. When I was talking about earlier, where certain kingdoms and Joy would kind of connect to each other, mainly with involving poneglyphs, right? So maybe Crocodile inadvertently goes and obtains Pluton, and by that I mean he inadvertently goes and gets into a fight for Pluton, right? And the reason I'm saying that is because since Buggy is now in the game, right? He said it's not about strength, it's a race, right? It's a race to get to the One Piece. Right now we're in last. We have nothing. But what I do have, I have my stocks. I have my memory from when I was a child. Remember everyone in this very chapter talking about Roger, and that's why it clicked. They're talking about Roger saying they laughed. When they found out the truth of the world, they all laughed. But the thing about that is one person didn't find that out. Actually, two people, Shanks and Buggy. Shanks already on the move. Shanks already has two poneglyphs and his crew are in tow trying to fight out the Blackbeard. Perfect. Shanks, you go stop Blackbeard. Me, I'm going to start from the very bottom to the places I know. One place I know, Wano. I know the people of Wano, they know me. Momonosuke knows Buggy, Nekomamushi, and Inarashi both know Buggy. Buggy can literally go in there, but listen, guys, I'm also Yonko too. We've had a relationship before. And remember, these people got sent from 20 years into the future. So their relationship with Buggy is a lot more fresher than it is Buggy for them, but still, that doesn't matter. Because Buggy could possibly go to Wano, but listen, guys, you remember me? Buggy Clown, I'm your friend. Lend me a poneglyph. I'm a Yonko. I'm a person with power. And the reason why I like it a little bit more is because of Mihawk. The very person who is deemed as the world's greatest swordsman, right? Wouldn't it make sense for him to visit Wano? Maybe he has already in the past. We don't know. We won't find out until he actually goes there again. Maybe he has been there before, and that kind of adds up to the relationship with Buggy, right? But Mihawk going to Wano, now that they know that they're a land of samurai with the new shogun, not Kaido. Kaido's not there anymore. Wano's not a free country, samurai, strongest swordsman. Why don't I go there myself? So we make it a situation that even if the Blackbeard pirates do show up, it ain't gonna be as simple as you think. Because remember, it's a race. And we're in last place, but doesn't mean we can't get the first. I was gonna say a sick joke, but I couldn't think of the joke in my head, but you know what I mean. So I could definitely see a situation where Buggy goes to Wano to start his journey the easiest way he knows how. I know where Wano is. I know there's a poneglyph there. And oh yeah, if we need poneglyphs and a way to get there, we're gonna need someone to read the poneglyphs. Maybe he doesn't remember there's a poneglyph there. Maybe he just goes because he knows he needs someone from there in order for him to read the poneglyphs. Kaido's not there anymore. There's no reason to fear. He can pull up, but yo, listen to me. It's your boy Buggy. But I move. Mihawk going to Wano, stocks are all-time high. They're actually all-time low right now, so you better buy in. You heard it here first. NRS does Akainu know. I already talked about that kind of a little bit earlier. And then We're done with the 90s. Now you guys all see the frauds they are. Maybe they're not frauds, but they didn't really do anything great. Maybe if they did something great, now it's all put into question. There's an asterisk on your Pirate King resume, my guy. But remember, we gotta remember, at the end of the day, Roger's not a hero. I'm assuming he's like Luffy. He's not a hero. He's a pirate. And maybe, like I said, we talked about earlier, maybe Imu-sama was like a necessary evil in the world because they had to be the one to fight 20. You know, there's always a way to work it in. Maybe if Roger said something right now, nothing could be done. He already said it's too early, right? So if he were to even try to do something, maybe he wouldn't be able to do nothing, right? Like even if he took, maybe this is a kudos to how strong they really were at the time. They realized Roger's like, I finally figured it out. I have a year to live. Let's go. Excuse me. Let's go do this. Like, you know, like maybe that's like, he's like, instead, let me do this. I'm too early and I'm too old and sick to do anything. Let me do this. I will go up. My execution will do a couple things. It will relieve the world of its biggest threat, but also be the reason why the world is saved. He sacrificed himself in order to start the Great Pirate Era. If the person in the crowd never asked the question, would Roger have said anything? That's a what if we can't really answer. But we know what happened was he was able to deliver that message, setting everyone basically setting the world ablaze and starting the Great Pirate Era where everyone took to the seas. For a couple of reasons. Now you're on a boat. You're on a boat. If it sinks, you have somewhere to live. You're free. But we need people out there to try to find or get to where I got. Because I was too early. Maybe the next person may be too early. Maybe the next person may be too early. But there's definitely going to be a person who gets there on time. Because fate told me so. I don't know. Roger saw something and he had a vision and hey, here we are. Luffy Joy Boy. But we're still done with the 90s. I'm not trying to hear that, man. We have a fleet admiral knowing the secrets of the world, knowing that these people are literally just massacring people drop of a dime. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna stay there for my entire career. I'm gonna lick your boots. I'm gonna shine your shoes. I'm gonna heat your meals. And I'm gonna protect you. Didn't do nothing. You're a Marine. You're for justice. Come on, man. Am I hearing that? Rayleigh, you were young and fresh, my man. See, like when Marco, right? Marco spun back. Rayleigh, you lost your brother Odin to Kaido, did nothing. You heard about the world, did nothing. You shacked up on Sabaody, like, you know what? I'm gonna prepare for when the worst gets the worst, but I'm not gonna tell no one nothing. I get it, you don't want to ruin the fun for the younger generation. Am I hearing that though? What if there was no younger generation? Listen, we were in one Nico Robin for Luffy dying in the desert, and that's game over. You watch your best friend's son cry on television for over 2 hours. And I watched you literally swim across the conch belt. You couldn't go help him. Lost Odin, nothing. Ace, nothing. People dying, I'll open a bar. I'm done with the 90s. Garp, you are the worst. You're strong, I get it. But you're more compass up there. You are the Marine, right? Luffy didn't want to be a hero. He wanted to be free, but you were the one. Hero of the Marines. Come on, bro. If you and Sengoku were like, yo, listen, Dragon, pull up at 6 p.m. Friday afternoon. We got the revolutionaries, Navy Marines over on that whole thing. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. And lastly, guys, actually, I have more about the 90s, but I'm not going to. Copacabana, don't let me find out you on laugh till chilling, bro. Crocus, you know, I'm going to let you slide because you helping Laboon out, but Copacabana, let me find out you on laugh. You know what? 2v5, okay. Last but not least, last section of the chapter, we got to see York figuring out what happened and saying, yo, guys, listen, I know this Den Mushi is. It is inside the ancient giant robot that's walking across AK right now and not being able to be stopped. And we talked about earlier, we talked about the Mother Flame, and I kind of mentioned it, but like now I'm saying, right, now that they know the ancient giant is where the signal is coming from, they're going to turn their attention straight to that, right? They're going to dive as fast as possible to destroy that ancient robot before he says anything else, right? He said Joy Boy already, damn, right? He talked about some guy, talked about the ancient web. He said destruction of the Lucia that's supposed to differ. He said too much, right? At this point, they're like, whatever else comes out of his mouth will ruin us, right? So I can definitely see them all going at the same time. Maybe a combination attack, all to go with it, right? But just how the Junisha had sentience to be able to talk to Momonosuke, and then how the robot had sentience and wasn't responding to the energy source that was, he wasn't responding to the energy source that was the Mother Flame. But once Gear 5, once Joy Boy came, the heartbeat resonated with the robot and woke it up. I mean, there is a connection with him and Joy Boy. He even said, I'm sorry, Joy Boy, right? So what if he's able to talk to Luffy about, Luffy, or Luffy, who is now Joy Boy, XYZ, we may even get a flashback to who Joy Boy was and how he's able to know the ancient robot. Who knows, right? Right? It could be like an Oars Ace thing with Joy Boy and the ancient robot. Who knows, right? But I could definitely see a situation where he's able to talk to Luffy and maybe tell him, yo, listen, like, get off the island, I got you, or this is how Joy Boy was in my, like, there's going to be some line of communication between the two, right? But now that the ancient robot is awake, resonating with Luffy's heart, now the ancient energy source that Vegapunk said to replicate, that literally recreated Uranus, now we know for a fact that the ancient robot can use it and actually, like, be able to use it, I guess, right? So I can see a situation where we're talking about Luffy eating it. Maybe the ancient robot or Luffy helps the ancient robot by giving him the flame, right? Like, oh, my energy's running out. I need the flame that's in that room. Luffy, gum, stretch. Here, ancient robot, here you go. And it's like, no, not the Mother Flame. And Luffy's like, yeah. Gum. Belly punch. I don't know, right? Something like that happens, right? And the ancient robot is powered by the Mother Flame, and he's able, and then we get a situation where we get Luffy and Joy Boy, or Luffy, who is Joy Boy, and the ancient robot fighting side by side yet again. Like, I can see the image now, like Luffy, like perched up on his shoulder with his arm around his, like looking at the grocery like this. I can see it already in my head, right? And it's like the two of them versus the five. Like I mentioned, I don't think the Stars are all going to get off the island together, and I think that's kind of playing out the way it is now. Cause I don't think the ancient robot's just going to fight all five of them by himself. And if that's where the signal is, I think they're going to need to get the signal off. The biggest problem last time with Dr. Clover was that Dr. Clover died right before the ancient kingdom was told to the people of Ohara. So I don't see it happening twice, right? If it happens twice, damn, you got me. But I don't see it happening twice. And if the ancient robot is supposed to be destroyed at the exact moment the ancient kingdom's name is about to be revealed, I don't think that's going to happen. I think Luffy and the ancient robot are going to fight together, so we can get that 2v5. But yeah, I think that's it, man. I don't got anything else to say. So, like I said at the end of every single video, leave a comment down below. Tell me what you guys think. What do you guys rate this chapter? What do you guys think of the topics we talked about? Let me know down in the comments. Also, leave a like, hit the subscribe button, and the bell button to come back next time and remain in land, y'all. I appreciate y'all. Peace.